Today we are talking about the new coastal highway and how one road is transforming Nicaraguan's Emerald Coast. Some people love this new road, others worry about what it means for the future, but everybody agrees on one thing, that it is changing everything. A few months ago, I made a video on this road, but this was on the southern portion, the portion between the border between Costa Rica and Nicaragua up until San Juan del Sur. Well, now another big stretch of it is already completed or nearly completed. And last weekend, a friend of mine and we drove from San Juan del Sur up to an area called Popoyo. And this highway is being built at an amazing rate. Everybody is talking about it. It seems to be advancing very, very fast. And the transformation is mind-blowing. So prior to this road going northward, the way to get to the northern beaches or the northern communities, one would have to drive on a road called the Chocolata. And the Chocolata has its charm, but it's a dirt road. So that means that every rainy season it would get washed out. There would often be big puddles of water. Also, the water pipes run underneath it, and every time a big vehicle drove over it, often the pipes would break. So there was always big water hazards. A lot of farm animals like cows and paliboy, which is a type of goat, and horses were always around this road. And the road was very narrow, like meaning there's one lane going each way, but there was also jungle on each side. So there's not a lot of room to maneuver around, like if you want to pass somebody, if you have to pass some animal, just not a lot of room to negotiate around. Now the Chocolata is beautiful in its own way because the jungle surrounded it so closely. It was almost like driving in a tunnel of green foliage. But because it was so rough for most of the year, it would put a lot of wear and tear onto your vehicle, and the driving was very slow. The first thing that struck me when we started driving on this highway is the highway is very wide. And not only that there has been some jungle cleared out on either side of it to make way for water drainage. And so I think this is very good engineering. Obviously, it's a little sad that some of the jungle and the forest has been pushed back. But also the vast views that you get from this highway. When you're up at the top of the hill, you can clearly see the beaches, the Pacific Ocean. You can see, if you look to the east, you can see the hills and the forest for miles and miles. It kind of just like broadens one's perspective when they're driving to the north. Right now, this is mid-June, and the rainy season started a few weeks ago. So that means that the hillsides are very verdant, very green, and the Cortez trees are still in bloom in some areas. So you look off to the east and you will see these big swaths of green peppered with these punches of yellow color from the Cortez trees. It's quite miraculous. So going north after leaving San Juan del Sur, a few of the beaches that we passed were Nacascolo Bay, Marsella, Maderas, Playa Gigante, and our destination was Jiquelite. So my friend had a recommendation to go for pizza at this little place right on the beach of Jiquelite. So that was our mission for the day. We saw some very interesting things along the way, including these small bridges that they inserted that run above the highway or the carretera. And before each one of these bridges, there is a sign. There's a sign with a monkey on it. So it leads one to believe that these bridges are there for monkeys to be able to cross over the highway without putting themselves in danger. And this is a very interesting balance between development and conservation. Other than the adorable monkey signs that we were seeing, we also seen quite a few of these signs here. Now, I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? It looks like no frogs crossing, but I have no idea. If you know, please put it in the comments below. We measured the distance that we drove, and from San Juan del Sur to Jiquelite, to this little pizza place, it was 45 kilometers, and it took us 45 minutes to drive there. In the past, when one would have to drive to the exact same spot, one would have to go up the Pan American Highway, cross through Rivas, deal with traffic, and then get on another highway, go through the town of Tola and Limon, and it would take easily twice as much time. So now it is half the amount of time and a much more tranquil and beautiful drive. After lunch, we went out onto the beach and we watched some local surfing. Right now there is like a huge swell coming through, so there was some local surfing. And off just a little bit to the north, we could see Rancho Santana, which in my measurement is probably the second most beautiful housing development in Nicaragua, and we could see all of the big houses and the clubhouse. It was really beautiful. But we saw other developments along the way as well, and one of them is Guacalito de la Isla, and hopefully one day I will do a video on that. But Guacalito de la Isla is owned by a very wealthy family, and it is the #1 or the creme de la creme of housing developments in Nicaragua. It has an 18-hole golf course. This golf course was designed by David McClay Kidd, and the resort itself has some very interesting architecture and is kind of spread out around its own private beach. There have been a lot of movie stars that have gone for vacation there, and even some English royalty that have vacationed there. A very interesting place. So one day I hope to not stay there probably, but maybe go for lunch or dinner, and I can do a video for you on that. I believe that many people, when they think about going to Central America as a whole, they think of having to drive down really rough roads and being in danger. But I can tell you that the highway system here in Nicaragua, not the Chocolata that I talked about, but the actual highway system, that has been really good. I've watched them build other highways at a resort that I used to work at. They built a highway between that resort to Managua, which was just west of Managua, and they did a spectacular job on that. The Pan American Highway is a very good and drivable highway. And now we have this new coastal road. And it is quite beautiful, very easy to drive on. And I hope you get to take a drive on it one day. So whether this transformation for the Emerald Coast of Nicaragua is good or bad, I guess just the future will tell us that. But definitely the coastal highway is driving the change that is coming to this area of Nicaragua.